when you have governors in the state, I mean, governors who have been duly elected by their people, one of the things they try to do amongst other, commitments is to ensure that they drive investment in their states. In that direction, I should say, some of these governors also ensure that they look at their own competitive advantage, whether it's in the area of agriculture, maybe precious stones, whatever it is, to pursue revenue generation, be able to do a lot for their states within that time frame when they're in office. And we're seeing governors make very frantic efforts, many of them getting very strategic in ensuring that they attract as much investment into their states as possible. A man in Edo State who has been in the saddle as governor for, what has become virtually 11 months now, has been doing the same, ensuring that he attracts investments into the state, not only to boost the revenue base of the state, but also to ensure that he continues to advance infrastructure developments and then invest in human capital. All of these, no doubt, very laudable. However, one of those moves lately appears not to have gone down well, especially given the magnitude of controversy that we have now seen around it. That is talking about a move that was made by Governor Monday Okpebholo and his team sometime in September to Glasgow in the United Kingdom, all in a bid to drive foreign investments into Edo State. What ought to ordinarily be a commendable venture, but today it has become a talking point on the one hand. On the other hand, it has now put the governor, the government, and those in the government in what Kanye West calls explanation point. However, the challenge now is what more work, how much more work does the government need to do to ensure that the right narrative is advanced, and then of course put the facts and the record straight in front of not just Edo people, but indeed Nigeria. So I'm joined by somebody whose support for the governor has never flinched, at least the entire time he's been governor so far, a member of the APC, as someone who has always talked about how that the APC is consistently on the forefront of driving development for Nigerians, top to bottom. Comrade Haruna, Braimoh, is always a delight to have you on the program.
Thank you very much, Uye. It's my pleasure.
Right. So investment, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, when you pursue investment, you want to attract as much investment into your state as a governor. As a matter of fact, it is inherently believed that it's part of your job as the chief executive of the state. Talk to our viewers on the program now. What exactly has gone wrong with this particular move, Governor Okpebholo?
All right. First of all, I want to let the public know that nothing went wrong with the investments that was promised by the Europe-Africa Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Everything that has to do with that promise is still on track. There is no official cancellation or backtrack from those that made the promise, and every necessary documentation was done by the SSG to the government of Edo State. What we are having in Nigeria or back in Edo State is not a backlash. It's not like you are trying to posit it that people, it's just some opposition group, which is necessary and normal in democracy. But the channel of questioning every program of government should be well understandable to the public. When Governor Okpebholo and his team came back from the UK trip, right in the government house, the SSG, on behalf of the state government, after the state ESCO, organized a press conference and addressed the press and explained everything that surrounded the $250 million possible investment deal. And I don't think, because in that press conference, they talked about the 4.6 billion that the state governor has approved for the hitherto displaced workers across agencies of government in the education, colleges of education in Igworiahi, Ekiadolo, Igwebe, and Agedebode. Those people, that were dismissed by the former administration for years, and their severance package was not paid. In that same conference, they touched on how the governor has approved purchase of 50 CNG buses for the intra-city transport service of Edo City Transport. And they also talk about how the governor has graciously approved extra 50 buses for the new Edo line to increase its fleet. They're touching on the investment drive and the outcome of what happened in Glasgow, which was air. The Glasgow event was air. Every pronouncement was air to the world to see and understood. But when the PDP or the opposition group saw whatever the narrative they were building or have been spreading, it's rather unfortunate. In that investment summit, the Edo State Governor addressed Edo diaspora. It was Edo Diaspora Business Summit. And he has told them how far he has fared as the Edo State Governor in providing every necessary infrastructure. The biggest driver of economy is infrastructure.
Right.
The biggest factor that influences ease of doing business is infrastructure. And when a governor is doing the right thing, naturally you will expect investment, even within local. Because a lot of local investors have entered the states right now, from Akoko Edo into mining sector, a lot from abroad, from within and outside the country. Even in Sapele Road, a lot of companies are being built by Chinese. So in the process, when he addressed the Edo in diaspora in Glasgow, telling them how much he has fed in delivering good governance in education, in agriculture, in mining, in health and all that, then a group of association of what they call it, Europe Africa Chambers of Commerce and Industry, who participated via Zoom, were listening, and they promised the governor that from all indication, from what the governor has said, and from their own independent verification of the activities of governance that's been going on in the last 10, 11 months in Edo State, they are ready to influence. Please take note of that. They never said they were bringing $250 million. They are chambers of commerce and industry. It's like an association of different businesses.
Right.
You understand? They said they will influence their members under the auspices of Europe Africa Chambers of Commerce and Industry. They will promote Edo to diaspora investors who want to come and invest in Nigeria. Instead of going to other states, they should come to Edo State.
Let me ask you this, just so we can.
And they promised that within the next 3 to 5, 6 years, they will be able to have wooed investors to Edo State to the tune of $250 million.
All right, great.
That was it.
What was the primary reason for that trip? Was it to pursue this, what you have referred to differently at some point, promise, later you called it possible investments? Was that the motivation for this trip?
First of all,
yes.
We call it a Edo Diaspora Business Summit.
So that was the primary goal.
Organized by the Diaspora Commission.
Right.
And Opebolo was a guest speaker. You understand? It's a business summit for Edo people in diaspora.
The primary objective was not to go pursue investment.
The primary the objective of the diaspora, the summit itself is Edo Investment Summit.
Great.
Edo Diaspora Investment Summit to convince the Edo people in diaspora to come and invest in Edo State. And Opebolo as a guest speaker ought to explain why they should come and invest. And some of the participants now said, okay, we are ready to tell other people to influence investment. Influencing investment does not mean you are coming to bring the investment.
Right.
That is it. They are ready to influence investment that will get to the tune of $250 million within the next 3 to 5 years or 6 years. And they were specific in areas of agriculture, mining, and possible tourism.
So can we deduce from your narrative on the program this morning that...
It's not my narrative because there's a press statement to this.
Okay, good. So
what is the position of the government?
In the course of the week, while we're having this program, we'll try to also bring that up. Of course, introduce a few more voices in this regard. But let's talk about whether or not,
some voices should not should tell you the sources of, because there's a press statement.
Sources must be authoritative, driven by facts.
The government has made their press statement, which is stated there how the whole issue went. So you don't need to bring somebody cannot come and be building narrative,
of course,
with from a phantom source.
Superior argument based on facts.
Based on facts. And that is what I'm even talking about. The only and the most authentic, whichever way you go to, because the players, the parties in this issue, and Edo State government, the Diaspora Commission, and the people, the organization that said they were going to influence investment to Edo State. So as it stands today, so you cannot be bringing a source that is contrary to whatever transpired there. And what transpired there was made known to Edo people through a former official press statement, provided by, addressed by through this SSG. SSG specifically spoke of this investments.
All right. Incidentally, we cannot get to Barrister Hilo just so.
No, you can get the press statement. I will forward it to you.
We'll look forward to it.
It's in the public domain.
We'll look forward to that. But,
all right.
But let's. I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
For the benefit of our viewers this morning. So, can we categorically say that at this point, no $250 million investment deal has been signed? Is that the point?
There was no deal. I just told you the deal they are talking about. It's a deal on the ground that people have promised to influence
across different sectors. And
they have signed that they will sign an agreement with them that Europe African Chambers of Commerce stated on this day XYZ that we are going to influence investment worth XYZ amount of $250 million to Edo State. Influence.
What's the time span?
Between 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years.
Yes, it was stated.
Okay. I asked you that.
And it's not because I've seen other narrative that will approve 250 million. Governor will approve 250 million investment.
Of course, that's out of the scope, obviously.
When you see different narrative on social media, even on print media.
But let's look at something a bit more authoritative. I mean, you don't speak for the government, but then you are not.
No, I'm not directly speaking for the government because I'm speaking the position of that the government made known to the public.
Based on the press release from the office of
which you watch, which I have
secretary.
Of course.
Right. But let's. I asked you that question basically on the strength of the information on the official website of Edo State Ministry of Information that states very categorically that Edo State government signed 250 million naira.
Deal.
Is that not misleading?
What is misleading? Because I just told you now, because the governor left the SSG behind to do the signing with the people that you cannot promise me verbally without putting pen to paper. What is wrong? What is misleading there? Even in the financial system, we have what is called promissory note. Don't you sign it?
In the same financial system, I mean, just to add to what you've said, of course,
yes.
Brilliant. In the same financial system, business developers, marketers are told that efforts are not rewarded, it's only results that are rewarded. So does the state government expect a pat on the back for, well, at best effort rather than
this is not about review. This is not about review.
But the people want to do their
excuse me. This is not about review of results because we have not got it to somebody the governor just came and addressed you that he signed an agreement with so outfit who have promised to woo investors to the tune of $250 million to Edo State. And you're not talking of what are you reviewing? That is an effort. Then wait until 3 to 5 years when the investors are not here or for whatever reason.
Okay, can I just ask you a question before we hit a break? I saw pictures, a few videos of this trip, right? It's a no-brainer that this must have cost energy, money, and time. I mean, this is a governor of a state traveling. No matter how much you want to cost, it did cost energy, money, and time. As it stands today, because whatever is going to happen between 3 to 5 years based on this piece of information that you shared with us this morning is only futuristic. As it stands today, what we do know is that there is no deal, as it were, signed in terms of investment. But then, would you say, quite frankly, I mean, you are an expert when it comes to finance, is the outcome commiserate with the investment?
Let me take, maybe you need to flash your mind back. For every deal, every bilateral arrangement or agreement that is signed within countries or among countries, it's all futuristic. If Tinubu goes to China or Buhari, or every former president that have ever signed a deal, even former Governor Obaseki, started going to China and everywhere, 2016, 2017. We only begin to see few manifestations from 2020, 2021. It's all futuristic. If me and you agree now that we are going to have a business deal and we put pen to paper, is it not futuristic? That, okay, we are commencing, because every deal must have a time frame.
Right.
Okay, when are we activated? There's period of activation. There's even gestation period. There's period after signing the deals. There are period we need to go across the I's and dot the T's of our respective agreements. Every deal, every bilateral deal, every investment deal, whether with corporate organizations, whether with individual, whether it's with government, is futuristic in nature.
Let's talk about substance. I mean, you just mentioned Obaseki. Obaseki at the point was...
No, I just made reference, just the way I measured other people.
No, it's okay. I mean, the government is continuing the same. Absolutely. Yes, and it's I mean, you should be respected for even saying that at least a bit of manifestation came through 2020, 2021 in the days of former government.
They are trying to make reference to the time where those deals were signed.
Compared to when they started to come to fruition.
At least when they now came, I started hearing that, oh, I've given them land, government have provided this for them.
Funding.
Whatever, exactly.
I want to talk about all of this again from the standpoint of substance. The people who have been following this quote-unquote Glasgow deal say that this will lack substance, and their point is very clear. They are saying that in the case of Obaseki, even though the former governor had been heavily criticized for being what people for the most part refer to as MOU governor, you could see people from China and a few other countries coming to town, dialogue, interaction, engagements, and all of that. You could see scientific evidence of interface, all right, between the state governments under the leadership of the former governor Obaseki and these partners as they were. However, in the case of Governor Braimoh and this move to Glasgow in the United Kingdom, what scientific evidence do we have beyond the, if you like, the public service announcement of some kind from the office of the Secretary to the State Government?
Then you told me you watched it, because if you watched it...
I saw pictures of the governor on his aides. I didn't say I saw him with...
No. There is a video, not just pictures. Because it was, as I said, Edo Diaspora Investment Summit. Investment Summit to woo Edo people in diaspora.
So do you have videos or pictures?
Of course, there are videos. That's why I said
of these partners.
Exactly. What do you call partners? Edo people in diaspora are partners naturally. And the investment was Edo Diaspora Investment Summit. There are a lot of people in diaspora that are from Edo extraction.
So how does Europe Africa?
Yeah, because one of the members
is from Edo.
Is from Edo, which is the ambassador. Who is the president of
Dr. Obasohan.
I don't know his name, but I know he's an ambassador. So it's Edo. That was where the conversation that he was going to convince his member organization. Is providing leadership for social organizations that have a reach across diaspora from both Africa and even some investors in Europe under the auspices of Europe, Africa Chambers of Commerce and Industry. And they will go all out to influence investors in Europe and Africa to not just come to Nigeria to invest, but specifically to come and invest in Edo State, in areas of mining, in areas of agriculture. Based on the explanation or the respective factors that governor has laid there in that summit to the Edo Diaspora. Okay, look at the team, Edo Diaspora Business Summit or Investment Summit.
That's the event.
Of course, that is the team of the event. Okay, and even some white people were there. I will send you the video since you claim you don't have it.
We'll appreciate that, and we'll also do a double check and fact checking and all of that. But let's
I'm not supposed to have done a lot of checks because this is almost like 2 weeks.
A little over 2 weeks actually. I've checked. I've not seen those videos. But if you have the videos, why not? By all means, we can exchange, as they say, notes. All right. But let's talk about.
At times I share notes with you. You just write okay to reply me.
Well, I use that. I give you when you are not a guest on the program. But
it's also good as a journalist, as media reporter,
to put them out there.
Of course, that okay, I will confirm. There was a day you also corrected me or something.
You were talking about the ownership status of Harvard University. You also talked about this.
Exactly. So when some of these facts, superior facts, are brought to bear, you also confirm it just to say, okay, we have confirmed this.
For our viewers to know.
Of course, they have to know.
I think that point is totally valid. But just before we hit a break now, Braimoh, let's talk about this particular, I'd like to call it understanding, all right, between this entity and the state government. Who is in this partnership? Is it the Ea-Cci or Dr. Obasowa as an individual?
The Europe Africa CCI.
Yes.
Under the leadership of Dr. Obasowa. You understand? It's in agreement with Edo State government that they are going to woo and influence investors to Edo States. And they promise such investment is going to be to the tune of $250 million. Okay. Within the next 5 years.
We're not done just yet. We're just going to take a quick break now. When we return, we'll talk more about these developments, given the fact that there have been multiple angles to the conversation. Like I mentioned at the top of this discussion, the situation today has now left Edo State government at the point where it has had to explain all of this time and again. And one would have thought this whole time and energy will be more than enough to invest in a few other ventures that will largely benefit the people of the state. When we return, we'll talk about what the best practices are when it comes to subnationals engaging for the purpose of attracting foreign investments into states. Please do stay with us. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, let's begin to tie it up now. We're spending the next few minutes to just understand a few things about what's going on the ground in Edo State. But in 30 seconds, talk to us about what ideally the standard practice should be when a state government or subnational of any kind is engaging for foreign investment. And then we'll just talk about quickly what other things the government is doing by way of trying to move Edo State from point A to point B.
I think the other one, the first one you asked is self-explanatory. The best way of winning foreign investment, even local investment, is to embark on create an environment as ease of doing business. That is where naturally, of course, remember before now, last year, Edo was number 37 out of 36 states plus FCT. We carried the last in areas of ease of doing business, 2023, 2024. Because there was no good infrastructure, sound infrastructure. Right now, I just told you a lot is happening. The Chinese are investing much. Some are from India, they are investing in Akoko Edo in the mining sector, and Okpela. Even Bua is expanding to Ososo now. It's mining activity and cement limestone business. A lot of influx of foreign investors are right much in Edo North and in Edo South as we speak. All this owing to the fact that there is now enabling environment for things to thrive. And that is the first thing any government should do. to win investment. And when the investment proper, the process of having the investment proper is to dot the I's and cross the T's of agreement, so that we ensure that we don't secede part of the stake of equity of the state or properties of the state in the name of seeking investment to outsiders. And we look at the legal frameworks of this agreement and the involvement vis-a-vis the inter-countries allied matters that has to do with company issues. That is it.
As it stands today, we still see so much of back and forth talk here and there about not continuing some of the legacy projects and initiatives that, just a second please, that his predecessor, Governor Obaseki, has started. What exactly is the context within which that conversation is being
is a delusional creation of the feebles of the opposition's mind, because the conversation does not exist in the first place. What legacy do you want him to continue? Where there is where there are things to continue, I believe the governor have continued if there is, but where there are not, you don't force. You don't want to tell him to continue where obviously things were wrong. For example, the Stella Obasanjo Hospital that the former governor Hitatu said he has commissioned for operation, and getting there with all you saw it on television that it was incomplete, so an uncompleted building. How do you build an hospital and you agree? I was engaging one of his former aides the other day. He agreed that the administrative building of the hospital is the only building that was under construction. Do you run an hospital without administration? So you want people to just continue your sham commissioning and say there's an hospital? It does not work that way. The other one is the Emowa issue, which
it has to do with the museum.
The museum, where you demolish a more than 107 years existing hospital structure, which is you are now recommitting state fund to be building as Stella Obasanjo. You demolish the specialist hospital, put your private venture of a museum that is owned privately, and now you are still encroaching. You want the governor to accept the fact that you are encroaching on the remaining land, and the governor is saying no, we are going to reclaim it. Even the deputy governor spoke about that. What legacy do you want him to continue with? Is it the Osomo debacle?
So you're saying the former governor never left anything behind that?
I said where there is.
So is there any so far to the best of your knowledge?
The Radisi Blue was corrected because the legacy, if he had continued with the legacy, that means we would have bequeathed 10% stake in Radisi Blue to Edo State, whereas the investment of Edo State was worth 40%, which has to be corrected. So you don't tell him to just continue legacy. He has to review things. You understand? The legacy of bad road should he have continued that? The only legacy project as far as road infrastructure is concerned supposed to be Ekewa Road, which he never delivered in 8 years. Now Opebolo is continuing from where he stopped on that Ekewa Road, and Opebolo is not leaving that. Is hijacking and contributing, complementing federal government effort to fix the federal government roads infrastructure in Edo State. Look at it, took over in February 7th. It took over Bilisa Plain Road from the federal government. Agreed. Though yes, definitely in the future they are going to refund the money because the contractor was delaying the progress of the job. Like we said on this program, the people that uses this road are not federal citizens. They are Edolite and Nigerian citizens. So should just the legacy of Obaseki by placing signboard that this road belongs to federal government, bear with me, should they have continued that? Instead, he carried the burden of fixing the road and is giving palliative measures in your area, from Ea-Cci to Ibilo. Is fixing the road. It's a federal road from after Ekpoma, where the Ekpoma has where the Boa has really concentrated on. After then, up to Agbede, the palliative repairs that is being done there is being done by Opebolo. Meanwhile, he's fixing the internal roads in Edo State, rural roads. The internal road, the Benin City, the flyover, the Palace Road, the Ute Road, the Teboga Obowo Road, the same Ekewa Road we are talking about, and others.
Okay, I'm sure this review that you mentioned about what the governor is doing regarding where he met the states and where he's taking the states.
Exactly. So, in IGRO, what legacy? We left a legacy of IGRO of 9 billion. And now the Opebolo has grown the IGRO, fiscal prudence, grown the IGRO to 13 billion.
That's commendable.
Nothing.
I mean,
It's commendable,
for a
right?
man who has not done 1 year in office.
Exactly.
We will continue to also track and see how
He left the legacy of abandoning markets and is remodeling the market from Oba market to Jetu market across the Tiri senatorial district. Remodeling those markets that were bombed, that were raised by fire, and you abandoned them. So should we have continued the legacy of leaving those abandoned projects?
As always, Haruna, Braimoh, we're always grateful for the very valuable insights you come here to share with us regarding what's happening, not just in Nigeria and how we're doing as a nation. Also, thank you for coming on Global Morning.
Thank you.